Hello guys, I'm gonna do a video on my US or my Linux history and Unix history, how I got started, and basically I'm gonna show what I'm using now, or at the end of it I'll show my conclusion to it and why you should really switch to Linux or at least get adapted to it, even if you don't have a practical use for it. So, it all started when my first desktop computer, which was an HP at the time. I didn't install the Windows operating system separately, so I still had the same license that pre-store bought. It was a pre-built machine. I know it's terrible to pre-built, but anyway, I had a pre-built machine, so the license stopped working for whatever reason, and my friend suggested that I should try out Linux. My friend, if you want his name, you can ask me in a private message or something like that, or DM me on Twitter as you see fit. He doesn't want his name out there. I can understand that. So he showed me Linux, and at the time, I think it was YouTube 14.04 or something old like that. I remember it being Unity, and I really disliked that at the time. So I was really interested in chance, and basically I read the RMS type philosophy, how software should be free. So I was interested in that. Now, after I tried out Linux and I hated the Unity interface, I still use it to this day. I think most people that try out Unity don't like it as much because it reminds them of a Mac or it's a copycat of a Mac. So I went to Crystal, which is even worse. It had GNOME on it, or at least a different version of GNOME than what people are used to. This GNOME has GNOME Flashback, which is an older GNOME. It reminds me of GNOME 2, even though I had never used it, and I think I just know it from friends telling me it was bad or it wasn't as good. I never regret actually using it and thinking it was the cool thing. Now afterwards, after a time period, I started learning Uncapy, which is it's a philosophy in Unix where software should be simple. Like there should be no complexity in software. It should be able to be explained and censored to. Now this has limitations, of course, and you gotta use philosophy where be explained in it should be explained in a sentence or two, or it should do one thing well. Those type of things. I did not really interested in Plan 9, and I wanted everything to be C. Now, when I started code programming, or at least, I don't have any programs in C, but when I started trying out the language, I disliked it. Now I see where Golang is coming from, where, that's where my new language I'm using, because it seems easier, or the new language I'm using on the Unix system, on, my main operating system, like programming, doesn't have either of those, I don't think. So then I switched to OpenBSD for the host, since Plan 9 cannot be run in on modern machines as much. And then afterwards, I started getting into Sutless again. So I found Roy Linux, which is a distribution created by the NetBSD maintainer and developer, and I learned of some interesting setlist philosophies too as well, and other things like how software should set less rather than it being simple software, which doesn't make as much sense to most people in the technology community or the quote unquote hacker community. But in the free software hacker community, they believe that software should only be done once, and as much code as you write is really good, but we all know how terrible that is and how confusing it can be for a beginner if they see so much line of code. How can they understand it at least to a basic level? So on my on my last installation on my own laptop, which is an HP as well, it was AMD. It was Intel, which I did not like. I'm not a big fan of Intel, even though people tell me it's really good for power consumption and yada yada. Um, I switched to XU2 again, which I haven't done before, but I never mentioned it because it's not a thing distro hopping achievement. Like, woohoo, you used all a recent distro, what takes literally 10 seconds after you learn how to do the installation process. And then, and now I'm back on Mewtwo again. I'm a Mewtwo fanboy as much as possible. And for the media hosts, but I do use Temple which is like Terry Davis is schizophrenia with me. Although I know he's on medication like I am, so please do not confuse us as the same. We have different ideas as well. We're different people for the most part. That is my history of Linux and Unix in general. If you have any more questions, ask below in the comment section or email me, whatever you wish to do. Yeah, and that's about it. And the conclusion I have for Linux users is you should definitely give it a shot. It's way better than Windows. If you're tired of clicking all the time, even though you still do it on beginner distros on Linux, it's way better than the graphical environments that the modern proprietary software offer you. I would recommend you to give each distro a shot in VirtualBox first, or whatever other emulation software you prefer, because you have no idea if it works with your hardware even, or if it's a good operating system that you may enjoy. That is my conclusions. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.